What is the meaning of a book? What is the importance of a book? And what makes it different than others? Why do people place so much importance on a holy book compared to anything else? I was asked such a question and I said, oh, big questions coming today. I was like, okay, see, something is holy only to those who seek it as a holy aspect. See, the only holy thing in this world is creation itself. Because without it, we wouldn't have experienced anything. Creation did not start with us, it will not end up with us. Whether we blow this whole planet up or not, it's not going to change anything in the cosmos. It's just going to be a bang, like a little fart that you try to, throw when you're at school and you don't want everyone to hear, you don't want anyone to hear. It's just going to be a silent event or a loud event. It's not going to change the cosmos at all. If we are aware, at least for a certain period of time of our life, that this cosmos is made of billions upon billions of galaxies, each teeming with life at different levels, if you are capable of understanding, at least as a natural pantheist as I am, that everything around you is life, starting from the building that you live in, from your mobile phone that you're lost, and the new one that you bought, starting from everything that you bought, everything that you used, everything is a piece of life. You are taught life in such a feeble way. Everything that you turn into a concept, you don't have any damn freaking experience about it. You see all them bozos talking to you about God. You see all them Christians tell to you about Jesus, all the Muslims and all the Hebrew people, right? The Judaic people. They talk to you about Jesus even nowadays as if they lived 2000 years till now. They met them in person and whatever happens. This is what happens with people who are obsessed with their mind, who are slaves of their mind. You hear them talk all the nonsense about something they don't have the slightest experience about. You see all them fake gurus talking to you about Reiki and the such. If you ask them a few more questions outside of what they know, they'll simply snap. A true guru is someone who has a good perception of the world. It doesn't mean ultimate perception, but they have a decent understanding of the world. They are capable of seeing beyond many veils and beyond many illusions that a lot of people think their life in. Because giving attention to all the things around you is not a good way to live your life. It can give you a sense that you're doing progress, because this is how the illusion of the mind works. The more concepts you give it, the more concepts you invent about something, the more rigorous the definitions you create, the more your mind will congratulate you and it will give you an illusion of satiation. The more concepts you think you know, well, you will think that things will be more complicated, and the more complicated they seem, you feel that you're actually achieving a certain progress in your life. You will feel that you are suddenly a genius because you know all these definitions. Ultimately, they're just a piece of meaning, exactly like the slang words that come out today from people's mouths, and in 1 year, probably they're not going to even be used anymore, right? Remember 5 years ago when people would use the word copium? Well, most likely they didn't. They're using it now. Maybe they're not going to use it in 2 years. You never know. So, meaning is as feeble as that. People just talk about all sorts of concepts, but they don't have any freaking understanding uh, in many cases. They don't have any experience whatsoever. Because understanding also comes with experience. If someone tells to you about Reiki, but you've not been initiated, you haven't had any experience into it, isn't that nothing else but a good bedtime story, right? They're telling you all the time, oh, you can use energy in this way, it can only be used in good ways. Oh, you can use Reiki in bad ways, I assure you of that. Someone can use energy in a bad way, it can be used in a good way, and vice versa. And you'll be taught some symbols, and you'll be taught this and that, and theta healing and other things like that, and they will tell you how you can heal other people, but nobody's telling you how much you can screw your life if you're trying to heal other people, because you're going to mingle with their own energies, with your own energies, and that will attract the worst type of karma ever. But most of those people who will teach you about Reiki, they're too stupid to know that. Yes? They most likely haven't experienced anything outside of their body, outside of their senses. And no, I'm not talking about astral projection. I'm just talking about understanding of life. How energy functions, how you can screw yourself around if you don't do the right things with your own energy. You have to understand your energies are very powerful. Don't deal with those in wrong ways because you're going to attract things that you may most likely are not prepared for. So many people want to go into the past and experience things. So many people believe this, so many people believe that. So many people I see, they talk all the time about Jesus. And it's like, come on, it's already becoming boring. It's already becoming like, nonsensical already. Stop using Jesus as an excuse in life. Jesus has lived his life, okay? You have to understand. To me, meaning wise, there is literally nothing that can draw my attention regarding Jesus. There is nothing to worship about them because they are nothing but a human, a being of great power who once lived and now they have departed, right? They have departed 2000 years ago. Whatever their story was, the only important thing you can worship, it's not Jesus, it's not their persona, it's the teachings that they left behind. Whether you take the Muslim version, whether you take the Christian version, that is all up to you. Yes? All that is important is that you take into life, you take into account what is your own experience. If it is not your own experience, it is only a bedtime story. When you look at the magical books, they have served us humans for a while. You will see in time, in several generations, our children will be making memes. Well, those children of those times will be making memes of how stupid we've been throughout history, giving all our power and energy to some governments and to some beliefs that never served us in any way, shape, or form. Have you ever seen anywhere in the Bible or the Quran or the Judaism how to actually access your inner energies? How to connect with divinity? No, they all teach you the same stupid thing that God is somewhere up in the heavens and you must give all your power to an external source, right? Be it a church, a mosque, a synagogue, right? When you give your external power, what does it mean? Well, you feel powerless. When you feel powerless, what does it mean? You give up all hope sooner or later. What does it mean? You'll be seeking a greater power. So what does a sick society do? It replaces your God with a government. Governmental, what does it mean? Governmental means one thing: govern the mental. So you're seeing it today. You're no longer worshiping God. You've been worshiping Hollywood celebrities far more than you've been celebrating the Bible and the Quran that you're tirelessly telling people that they should follow it, right? And the future generations hopefully won't go by that because children in time will get sick of believing all these little pieces of nonsense. A book doesn't decide your future, it's only your actions. Whether you choose to follow Jesus Christ or Muhammad's teachings or any other religious being's teachings, that is a good point in a way because they have lived their life. They have lived and they left something behind. If that which was left behind lived for so many hundreds of years, well, either people were too obsessed with those, or there was indeed some kind of wisdom in those words. So, honestly, it is important to take into account what people in the past said. But also ask yourself one thing: were the previous generations wiser than us? Because I kind of doubt they were wiser than us. Yes? They didn't have too much time in their misery to think about the future and the such. They believed and did what they could. Everyone does the best they can. But I'm asking you nowadays, what is the difference in between a holy book and a school book? Right? It is holy for both of them, right? The school book is holy for the teacher because, well, it is his instrument of his work. A teacher can't work necessarily without a school book. Well, if they know their things by heart, obviously they easily can, yes? But in the end, a school book is still needed more or less, whether digital or physical form. It is still needed for the teacher to, teach the things to their children. Books will be important, whether digital or not. Now, if we think a bit about, books in general, a book can be a porn book, for example, yes? A porn book will obviously be holy to those who are obsessed with porn, right? If you look, for example, of a science book, it will obviously be holy for those who are truly into that. Because ultimately, something that is holy. It's either creation itself or from your own much smaller perspective as a human being. It is something that subjectively makes you feel good, or it is something that you subjectively feel drawn towards, right? Well, obviously, most likely, it's going to be your field of work, something that you want to live your life through, whether it be music, whether it be religion, whether it be science, any other aspect, right? Things are interconnected because, for example, music is also a science, right? It also has a lot of maths in it. So, in the end, whatever you want to follow in life, digital drawing, video game design, whatever it is, obviously everything related to it will feel holy. Yes? Because, you know, when you do something that you truly like, that is what gives you power, right? What do you do in a sick society? Obviously, everything that you don't like. You're working a shitty job or surrounded by shitty people, right? That's definitely not something that you like. So it makes you powerless. When you focus on your hobby, something that you like, irrespective of how irrelevant people around you call it, how does it feel? It feels obviously holy, right? Take, for example, a fisherman, right? What do? They just kill fish, right? They take them out from their environment and they sell it for food, or they eat them, or they just fish them out and they throw them back, right? In most cases, most fishermen won't simply throw the fish back in the water. They will simply make use of those. Whether they eat them themselves or they will sell them for money, ultimately life is all about consuming. But the one who sits there in nature, typically alone or not, well, it doesn't matter whether they're alone or not. While they are fishing, they will feel in such a communion with nature as if they are doing something holy. Isn't that so? When you go out in nature, right, and you sit there alone, whether you're surrounded by people or not, you simply can't care. You're not moved by those. You just close your eyes, everything vanishes. You're just with the silence within your mind, right? Isn't that holy? Do you need a book to tell you that? You don't need a book to tell you that, right? When you're running, let's say you want to become a professional runner and you know you make some money outside of a silly job, you quit your job and now you have all the time to do running, right? You become a professional runner. That's what you want to pursue, right? Sooner or later you become capable of actually getting money out of that as, let's say, a professional sports person, right? So now the question is, doesn't that feel holy, right? When you suddenly win your first medal, maybe not a gold medal, a simple medal, at least a medal that you participated, right? Not the first place, probably even the last place. At least you got a medal, right? Didn't that moment feel holy? Like looking back 2 years ago when you were working a shitty ass job, being poked at by your peers, and now you're doing something that you truly like, and you're actually even being paid for that. Doesn't that feel holy to you, right? So let's look back in World War II, right? When the first Messerschmitt 262 was invented, right? And the first pilot of that magnificent jet fighter flied it, right? A test version, obviously. But when they flied it, what did they feel like, right? Didn't it feel holy? Well, they said it's like being pushed by the angels, right? It definitely felt holy, right? Imagine you're just like a pilot. Once, when you were a child, you're looking at birds flying, and you once said, Dad, I want to fly too. They would say, probably, you're not good for that, or, probably a lot of silly parental, little fears. And then you have an option. You give up faculty, college, or whatever. You join the army, and then you say, no, 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 I don't want regular army. I want aviation. For some reason, you actually get accepted. Your dream becomes true. And then you learn everything about the birds that you're gonna fly, and you actually fly a jet for the first time, right? Isn't that actually feeling divine? Away from the earth, away from every mundane human, from any fucking thing. It feels that you're closer to divinity. You're only closer to the sky, but it feels that you're closer to divinity. Just you, the rumbling of the jet, and the jet itself. It's like you become one. And the better you become at it, it's like you're in communion with creation, right? You're just maneuvering a man made machine, right? Similarly, someone who becomes a poet, they might live a mundane life, but when they start actually creating, truly creating stuff, not, social media, uh, pseudo entertainment and, the bullshit puppy crap music, right? You see some of those big bands, the big fathers of music that this planet still has. You see them getting on the stage. Some of them look ridiculously closed, right? You feel like some of them look as if they escaped from an asylum, right? But when they start singing, when they start playing their damn instruments, it's like they're simply teleporting from there. It's just a corpse playing. They are somewhere out there, like living their life. It's like if they be, if they would have sex with 10 women or men at the same time, the orgasms that they would get is like nothing compared to how they feel when they play their freaking instrument and they let loose creation flow through their own body, through their arms, through their legs, through their whole expression, right? You can see those, whether they play a freaking piano, whether they play an organ, whether they play the guitar, you feel their music flowing through you because you feel how divine they can put it out as, right? Compared to all that stupid music that you see nowadays in mainstream media with the same repetitive beat, exactly similarly boring like a stupid ass job that most people live and probably even die for, right? Just so that they get taxed by a sick society afterwards. So, see, holiness is up to you how you perceive it. It is your own belief. Belief means accepting something without a necessity for proof. But ultimately, it is important to take it into account. We have not created this world. Divinity exists. Creation exists. Whether you want to put the whole creation into one single human and you want to name them Jesus, or you want to put it into one single being and you call it God, or whatever else, Allah, Yahweh, or whatever else you want, that is only a personal concept. And the problem with religions is a lot of people ended up believing a bit too much into those. And when one believes something too much, a war will start. Whether it is in between a few individuals or in between some small groups or some big countries, it's always going to happen. When someone believes too much into something, everyone else obviously will be the enemies sooner or later. We saw that with religions. We saw that with so many other concepts. Yes, we see these wars nowadays, social wars, right? Vaccinations, non-vaccinations, pro-Ukraine, pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, pro-Russia, pro-whatever. The sick society is doing nothing else than these little wars because this is how they strive. They know that if humans wake up and realize the whole world sings, the whole cosmos sings to the love of creation, it's just the people who are slaves of their mind that they can't. You take most scientists into account, they will tell you all the freaking details about that which they learned trees, animals, whatever. But many of those forget that they also have a life, right? They will tell you, so many machine people will tell you, oh, you're like this, you're like that, you always have mood swings, you like this color, you have these eye colors and the such, but they're missing the life within you. When people simply can't respect the life within you, not your choices, nobody gives a damn about your choices. Your choices are your damn action to do, and each action will have its own reaction. Just learn to simply accept karma. When it comes, just embrace it with open arms. The point about this is don't give too much importance to meaning. Meaning is something, a collective consensus. No one told you that outside of the religion that you have been spoon-fed since you were young. There are other religious points of view. There are other points of view that are not Abrahamic religions, Then you start choking religions with all sorts of questions like, what happens to non-Christians? Do they end up in hell because they don't believe in God? Well, they believe in creation as well, right? So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care. Enjoy life. And this being said, Ferenc Board signing out.